Today, I'm going to show you a trick that will make multiplying bigger numbers much easier. And this builds off of the arrays that we worked with yesterday. So today's lesson, we are going to be multiplying by multiples of 10. And at the end of this lesson, you'll complete this worksheet, which you'll need a printed copy of, and finish that for a grade. So let's review the very last problem that we worked on yesterday. It was this nasty problem where we had all these little sections of 6 times 8, or 6 times 10, and we figured out that when we added all of those 60s up, we ended up with a problem that was basically 8 times 6, but it was in the tens place. So we had 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6 times 8, which we know is 48. And that problem ended up being in the tens place, so the final answer was 480. And you'll notice that that answer of 80 times 6, that's this part right here, 80 times 6, was the same thing as 8 times 6, except it was in the tens place, so it had a 0 at the end, and it was 480. That is a super duper really handy trick that we'll use throughout this multiplication unit. So let's use that to help us solve a couple problems. Remember, what we're going to do is solve a big problem that's got a basic fact in the tens place and then add a 0 to the end of it. So let me show you what I mean by that. Let's start with the basic fact 3 times 4, which equals 12. Well, 3 times 40 would be the same thing as 3 groups of 40. So the 3 times 4 ends up being in the tens place as the tens place answer, and the 0 is at the end. So it's 120. So all I did was take this basic fact, stick a 0 at the end, and I'm done. 9 times 5 is 45. So what is 9 times 50? 45 with a 0 at the end, 450. 4 times 9 is 36. So 4 times 90 is, what is it, class? I can't hear you. Shout it out. Add a 0 to the end, it's 360. Good job. 6 times 7 is 42. So come on, shout it out. I know there's no one else that can hear you, so make it nice and loud. Tell me what 6 times 70 is. Put a 0 at the end, 420. Good job. 1 times 8 is 8. So 1 times 80 is going to be 80. That was easy. 3 times 2 is 6. So 3 times 20 is going to be a 6 with a 0 at the end, 60. 5 times 5 we know is 25. So 5 times 50 would be 5 times 5 with a 0 at the end, 250. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 30 will be the same thing with a 0 at the end, 180. And 8 times 6, as we saw earlier, was 48, so 8 times 60 is 480. Now that you've got the hang of it, go ahead and work on your assignment for today. The first problem in each one is the basic fact, and then all you have to do is stick a 0 at the end of it when you're multiplying by that same basic fact, but it's in the tens place. Don't forget to take a copy of today's assignment and turn it in to me because it is graded. Have a wonderful weekend.